Hey guys, I'm Dr. Josh from the Premier Life of Carmel, and welcome to the Premier Life podcast. Today is a wake up call for most of you because here's the truth: your body isn't broken; the timeline is. So here's the thing, guys: we live in a culture where we medicate symptoms, we manage dysfunction, and we're calling this like mental health. And the thing is if anxiety lives in the future and depression lives in the past, we're not really living. And we're not really living, and most of us haven't actually lived a long time. And so we're floating in between trauma and fear, and we're really disconnected to the place where healing actually happens, and that's right now. Like, this is about the now. And let's break it down. When we look at anxiety hijacks our brain with prediction. So the amygdala overfires. The cortisol levels fly up, our heart rate flutters, like digestion crashes. Studies from Stanford even show your prefrontal cortex, the area where logic and decision making is controlled from, shut down. It shuts off. And depression traps us in the past. And the NIH has actually found long-term depression shrinks the hippocampus, which this is the part of your brain that is tied to memory as well as emotional regulation. And Oxford studies are also showing the default mode network, the part of your body that helps with internal thought. It overacts during seasons of depression. You get stuck in this emotional replay. And these are not personal flaws. These are consequences, neurologic consequences from being outside of our present moment. And the thing is the nervous system, it doesn't want you to, we don't need more coping tools. Like, our nervous system, it wants safety and it wants right now. And this is the only time things will heal, is right now. So let's call it what it is, guys. Like, coping is, it's survival. Like, we've rebranded it into self-care, and it's survival. It's stress. It's duct taped our divine design. Like, we're barely holding on. And the industry, the big pharma, big industry, like, they're profiting on us being stuck, stuck in either the future or the past. And clinical studies show that chronic stress and emotional suppression are neuroinflammatory. Your brain is literally on fire when we're stuck in these places. Yet, we tell one another we need to manage it, not restore it. We name it, we don't release it, we cope instead of recalibrating our system. And guys, the problem here is coping is not healing, it's controlling. And the only way that we actually heal is when we surrender these things. And what makes it powerful is even when we look at like connecting this healing and in scripture, when we look at Psalms 46:10, it says, "Be still and know that I am God." Guys, stillness isn't just a spiritual thing. This is a biological thing, okay? Because the parasympathetic system, the rest and digest, the system that allows your body to calm, this thing kicks in when you're taking deep breaths, when you're praying, when you're becoming present. And mindfulness activates the prefrontal cortex, improves emotional regulation, like it quiets the fear response. And that APA actually will show that being present increases your vagal tone. It strengthens your insular cortex, and it literally rewires your emotional clarity. So being in this, paying attention to what's going on in this moment, creates a massive change in your healing process. And so we can both agree that being present is healing. And healing, not only, it's only happening right now. I had a guy in here recently, elderly gentleman who was in severe pain. This guy's had years and years of dysfunction building. And in this healing process that he's just started, he's frustrated. Frustrated because he's not getting the results that he wants to get immediately. And the hard part about that is he's not living in the present right now. Yes, is he feeling that pain right now? But the reason he's frustrated is because he has a fear of the future. He's staying in the past and looking at the traumas that have happened, which is keeping him in that re-loop. But then he's also looking too much into the future, which is creating fear, which is diminishing his healing process. And part of this issue is helping getting him centered into the right now. And that's frustrating for him because he hasn't lived life like that. His body has created patterns around both past pain and future fears. And pulling him out of that is irritating. It's inflammatory, but healing isn't going to happen as long as he stays there. Can his symptoms change? Yeah, they can change temporarily. But as long as the body isn't healing the way that it should, he's going to continue to have these moments of extreme pain, dysfunction, and ultimately the rest of the body is going to follow suit. And so part of what we're doing here is not just like helping you feel better, or not even helping your conditions, or not even helping your body heal. It's bringing you back to this timeline, bringing you back to the timeline that you're supposed to be in. You know, see in our office, like we see people that come in, they carry labels. Anxiety, my child is not regulating well, my marriage is stuck, my body is not healing, it's failing. I hear that so much. And the truth is those are not identities, those are interference patterns. Those are patterns that our body has associated with, our brain has associated with. And when your nervous system is stuck in fight or flight, it literally rewires every experience, every emotion, every behavior, every connection, and you react, you spiral. You detach, you know. And so many people look at this from the outside in and think of this as completely a spinal thing or a postural thing, or we're moving bones against or back into place, which is completely the wrong thing. Not that doesn't happen, but that's just scratching the surface, okay? Because the response that creates within your system allows you to recenter yourself in the right now and what's going on right now. And that's how healing actually happens. Is so many of us are frustrated because we're not getting a result because where are we? We're living in the future. Or we're frustrated because I'm not healing from blank because we're living in the past. And when I said earlier, like, yeah, a lot of us haven't lived long lives because most of us are stuck in one of those two things and we're not living in the right now because this is where life is actually happening. So here, like, this is a place where you don't just get adjusted. Like, this is a place where you come and you can call this home. You start to rediscover, like, your actual timeline to reclaim clarity and authority over your life. So the questions that I want to ask you about this are you living in the timeline that God never called you to be in? And how can you get out of there? Do you want to get out? Because I would argue all of us do. Are you still stuck in future fears or past pains? You know, are you still naming symptoms, or are we aligning ourselves with the trajectory that we're supposed to be on? Like, because healing doesn't wait. So many people think that, but healing doesn't wait. It happens. It doesn't happen in the past. It doesn't happen in the future. It happens right now. And for many of us, like, we have to pull ourselves out of that in order to regain restoration. And I'm here to remind you that, like, your body is not broken, but the timeline that you're stuck in is. And so I want to invite you guys to come in. I want you guys to be present, to come back to your design so that you heal as fully as you possibly can. Because as long as we're living that way, and I see so much of it, I see so many people who are stuck in an emotional cycle and they can't pull themselves out of it. And the part that this connects is this creates clarity throughout all of that. It breaks the loop. It breaks the loop of the future fear. It breaks the loop of the previous pain. And it starts to rewire, just like the sympathetics rewire all of those behavioral changes, all of those experiences. When you address the nervous system the right way, it rewires that in a positive way. And you don't have to be stuck in that loop. You don't have to be stuck in past traumas and past fears. And yes, like, your body has learned. It's been a learned thing. That's been a pattern that your body has created around that. But it can change. And the people that hear that or know somebody that are like, man, I feel like I'm stuck. I feel like I'm not healing, like we want to invite you to come here so we can help bring you back to your God-given timeline. And that's all I have for you guys today. So take action on that. Don't let that sit. Like, be in the present. Take action right now. I'm Dr. Josh. Thanks.